Principle 2 of the 11 principles against the Chinese Marxist model. The second principle is the principle of fallible central economic planning. I knew that China, which back in 2010 was growing at about 10% a year, I knew that could not continue, even though there was great enthusiasm amongst others saying, wow, look at that, it's going to surpass the United States economy pretty soon. China employs a mercantilist policy where they subsidize various industries to be competitive outside of China and to give them an advantage in then selling products and exporting products to the world. Some of this is in the nature of 5-year plans where they say what their objectives are for the next 5 years. And they wanted to move from being the factory floor for the world in making steel, building tools, widgets, and consumer goods to try to move to high-value manufacturing and technology. They have bought and continue to purchase European, American, Japanese, and Australian companies. And when they buy these companies, they're able to obtain the technology and know-how of these companies, their customer list, and expand further. This is in addition to their practice of duplicating the products and technologies of other companies. They take them apart, they steal the intellectual property, and then they sell it as their own. Unlike companies in the free market, they also have members of the Communist Party of China on their boards. And basically these companies have to do what the Communist Party of China says. This is not something that a company in the West has to deal with. Some of the centralized planning of China is to control the supply chain of critical elements of a modern economy. Rare earths are an example. In 2019, out of a total world production of 170,000 metric tons, China was making 120,000 of those metric tons. Some of the dominance of Chinese firms have increased since then. Now, these elements are critical to, for example, electric vehicles. Now, although electric vehicles do nothing to help the environment, in view of the dirty process to actually build these cars and extract these minerals needed for the cars, such as in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which requires child labor and open mines. They also require 6 times the amount of input in new minerals, in lithium, cobalt, manganese, aluminum, versus a standard internal combustion motor car. And yet the electricity still is, majority of it is generated by natural gas, petroleum, coal, nuclear power. But the pro-China elites in the West have tried their hardest to hamstring our economies by requiring electric vehicles, which is a strength of the Chinese economy. Some of our elites would like to see our supply chain run through Beijing. Remember the rule of 1, 6, and 90. For the amount of special minerals required to build one EV, you can build 6 plug-in hybrids, or you can produce 90 hybrids. So I'm in favor of producing 90 hybrids with far less reliance on these critical elements. If you ask yourself, do you really want to just make one EV or 90 hybrids? If the one EV helps the Communist Party of China and 90 hybrids helps us and is more rational in helping our environment for the amount of resources required. Let's also look at another technology. We had 4G technology and then we had 5G. And China made a concerted effort to dominate the 5G technology, which would help them also in their snooping capabilities of other countries to benefit the CPC. By choosing a mercantilist policy, the Chinese Communist Party puts their eggs in one basket, or we should say many large baskets. We should remember that one invention can make one of those baskets irrelevant. One new technology can eliminate the need for rare earths. Poof, all that capital and infrastructure for rare earths goes up in smoke. The beauty of the destructive and creative force of capitalism and free markets is it's always looking for a better way. And it's not waiting for somebody in the capital to decide what the better way is. This does not mean that as a nation we should not make plans or contingencies, but nobody has clairvoyance, which is the hubris of central economic planning. The Communist Party of China believes it can export its way out of its economic doldrums, where they are now at 4 to 5% annual growth, which is alarming for a country that has not made its way out of the middle income trap. The U.S. will tariff their subsidized EVs to keep them out of the United States, and other developed and developing nations who see their own industries wiped out by cheap Chinese imports are beginning to block Chinese products. That will leave China and the CPC with excess capacity and production. There are limits to what central economic planning can do versus the efficiency of the free market. Thank you.